Good morning, I'm Carrie Stokes, and I'm going to show you how to correctly inoculate a Petri dish with bacteria. This is our Petri dish. It already has the agar in it. The agar is like a gel-like substance that's the growing medium for bacteria. It has proteins and other nutrients in it for the bacteria to grow on, so it makes a great substance to grow just general bacteria with. Also, when we store a Petri dish, we store it upside down. So this is the lid, this is where the agar is. The reason that we store it upside down is because the lid gets condensation on the top, and we don't want the condensation to drip down onto our bacteria cultures, which possibly might mess up our culture, so we store it upside down. Alright, so I have my Petri dish. The first thing that you should always do is to turn it over, and on the bottom where the agar is, you should label your Petri dish. Now, you should label with a Sharpie or a permanent marker, and I've already labeled this one, and I put my initials, today's date, and I put the word control because I'm going to use this as my control Petri dish, okay? Alright, now, since I'm fixing to use this Petri dish, I'm going to turn it right side up, and I'm going to set it down on my countertop, okay? Now, we inoculate a Petri dish with a sterile swab, and they come in a package. And the agar is sterile, which means that it's been run through what's called an autoclave, where it's heated up to a temperature where bacteria can't live. And so the agar is sterile. You want a sterile swab because you don't want bacteria already on the swab that might interfere or give you false results for when you make your when you inoculate the Petri dish. I'm going to peel this back. I'm going to remove one of the swabs, or I'm going to hold it with my hand until I'm ready to use it. And you see I have the wooden splint sticking out. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to swab the countertop. And maybe I'm testing to see what type of bacteria grow on the countertop. So I'm going to take my swab out. Notice I'm holding the package in the other hand. I'm going to swab the surface, like so. I'm going to lay the package down. Now, this is very crucial. You need to tip the lid of the Petri dish up at an angle, but not take it all the way off. The reason that you tip it up at an angle is to keep bacteria and fungal spores that are floating around in the air or from your breath from getting onto your agar and giving you false results. So I'm going to tip it up at an angle. I'm going to run my culture sample across, and I want to do it in a zigzag line. The reason that we do it in a zigzag line is so that we have a pattern where we can look for bacteria growth. Okay? Then I'm going to take my swab. I'm going to put it back in the package. Notice I did not lay it down on my countertop. I'm going to put it back in the package. I'm going to push the package closed. And then I'm going to break the swabs, okay? Even though there's two in here, I'm going to go ahead and break them because and I'm going to immediately put it in the trash. I want people to know that these have been used and that they're contaminated. And you never lay a swab that you've used down onto a surface. You always put it back in the slip and then put it into the trash, okay? Now, my Petri dish is ready to store. I'm going to turn it back upside down where the agar is on top, and then if I'm doing several cultures, I'll take and store them one on top of each other and stack them up in the order in which I did it, or what, it depends on what you're testing. There's two more things that I'm going to do before leaving this activity. I'm going to wash my hands thoroughly with soap and water. I can use the soap from the dispenser, and then I can use paper towels. I want to wash my hands, and then I probably want to spray and disinfect the countertop on which I did the surface, or where I worked with the Petri dish. And that is how you make a good culture.